Hey everyone, I'm Moritz Simon Geist and I welcome you to my talk making futuristic music with robots. I'm super happy to be here at the GitHub Universe conference. Actually, I'm not here, I'm more in the internet, kind of here. I'm in Dresden, Germany in my workshop, and this is a good thing because I'm surrounded by all my robots. I brought several robotic systems here, and in this talk I'm gonna be talking a little bit about how to make music with robots, what that actually means, because I'm a robotic musician, how to create, build and play with them, and then I will also talk a little bit about how to perform with them, and I'm also giving a small performance. So let's get started. I'm a musician, robotics engineer and hacker, so more of a hardware hacker type. And a lot of times, often people ask me, hey Moritz, what are you actually doing as a robotic musician? What does that mean? And so I tell them 30% of the time I'm making music, 30% I'm building robots, 30% of the time I'm thinking about the future, and the other 30% I'm doing business, and that is combined 120% because I sleep less, I don't know. Okay, anyway, I'm here in the middle. You see me in the gray part. When you mix other colors, it's gray. Wonderful, yeah. So basically, I started off as a bass player in a punk band. I did music for most of the time of my life, also playing piano and clarinet. And then I thought, okay, making music is actually not such a good way to earn money, so I studied something scientific. I studied electronical engineering here in Dresden, and I went on the route for making really scientific things in semiconductor science. But I soon realized that to work in an office and like have all these like research things around, that's actually not the thing I really wanted to do with my life. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to combine these two things. I'm going to combine the music and the scientific thing, and I started building music robots. I soon changed my student apartment into a big mess, and I put a lot of cables and things around there, and out of this mess came my first installation, which is the MR808. Maybe some of you have seen it. It's a huge installation, 6 by 4 meter. The lamp here is for scale. And no, not 6 by 4 meter, that's too big, like 2 by 3 meter, that's the size. And it's basically a replica of the 808. The 808 is, of course, the TR-808, one of the most iconic drum computers in the universe, brought to market in 1981 by a Japanese company. And I thought, okay, I'm going to replicate most of the modules there, and the idea was to have no electronics involved and to replicate all the sounds of this electronic drum synthesizer with actual drums and with small mechanics and small motors. So this, for example, here is the drum module with darbukas, and then we also have like a clap module, and you can definitely check it out in the internet if you want to see a video. It was viral in 2012 when the internet was still young and the installation was also still young because it's from 2012. Yeah, the goals for the 808, actually I didn't have a plan, but like it appeared that the goals for the 808 would be to have a sound creation which is much more visual appealing. That means that you have like all these small things and they basically move, and you can really touch them and go there and just like do stuff. And this is something that you cannot do when you have like a computer, or which was really lacking. I started making electronic music a long time before I started building robots, but what was always lacking for me was like this touch of physicality, that you cannot actually touch something and it changes. So definitely another goal would be to have no more sound creation inside the computer, and also like this extension of creativity, because it's a very limited scope of sound creation. Actually, you have only the sounds that come out of this instruments. So Maybe enough for the forwards. I would say now I'm starting my live set and I will switch to my software of choice, which is Ableton Live. I don't know if you know the Fact magazine. They do something called a 10-minute track, track in 10 minutes. And I will do the same here. So maybe let's start off with the bass. When I play live, my first question is always like, what's the most important thing in electronic music?
Bass drum!
Bass drum! What's the most important thing in electronic music? Bass? Definitely. So we're gonna start with bass. There's only one person here, Paul, which is cool. But of course it doesn't, I cannot play live this year, but it's fine. Okay, let's start with bass drum. The bass drum here is in old vinyl player, which I converted so that it's basically not moving anymore, but it's only hitting on the on this plate, on the cardboard. It's amplified with a little EQ, and then you basically have a wonderful bass drum out of like a small mechanical motor. Okay? The next thing is like a hard drive. Because I figured out a hard drive is a wonderful thing for making sounds. Apart from storing data on it, you can also cut them apart. Then you can basically not access the data anymore. But it's really good for making sounds. So I have a few of them here. Okay, that sounds pretty nice. So I'm also in for guitar sounds. Let's see how this works. I'm controlling everything live here in Ableton. If I press one of these little blocks here, then there's a MIDI note triggered. MIDI is a format for controlling MIDI synthesizers. Probably all of you know it. And this is basically converted into electrical signals, and they are then transferred to the small instruments. So, okay, let's get started. The guitar. Nice. Okay. So, what we have here is a normal guitar, which I converted with like two robotic arms, or like arms with motors on it. They are then basically triggered by these notes. So I can also put a lot of notes, for example. Like this. But that doesn't sound good. So I remove it. Let's get it. Let's get to it. Yes. Okay. Okay. What we also need is hi-hat. Okay. We have like a standard hi-hat because I figured out that this is actually pretty cool. And I will also do like a small rhythm here. Okay, pretty nice. Okay, so the thing with all these music robots, it's pretty easy to do something which is percussive, but it's very hard to do something which has to do with melodies, because with melodies you always need like a bigger instrument where all the tones are basically sounding kind of similar. So for live shows like this one, I like to add some synthetic sounds, which is kind of a fake robotic sound, and I'm just doing it because I like bass so much that I basically just do it. Okay? I'm choosing this one. So this is the bass sound. All right, let's try it. Oh yeah, pretty nice. That's already pretty cool. There's another instrument which I want to introduce. This is my robotic Kalimba. This is something that I developed in the last years, and it basically refers to an instrument which is like a normal African kalimba, like this one. But here you basically have all the metal parts as small robotic devices, so that I can trigger them from far away with my computer. And I'm just setting a nice rhythm here, maybe something like this. Okay, let's see how this sounds. Okay, pretty nice. Oh yeah, pretty nice, pretty nice. Okay, cool. Okay, that's what was missing. Let's see. Okay, so one of my favorite instruments is this instrument. Okay, it's basically a shell which somebody gave me as a present, and it has the wonderful sound ever. Because what I also like is to find hidden properties in objects, and this one wasn't meant to make a sound, but I can show you how it does. Pretty nice. Super nice. It's actually dropping. No problem. problem. My computer just crashed. But this is kind of live, I guess. Cool. This is still running. Some of my robots run without power, which is great. Let's see. Hey, that was my contribution to this year's pandemic version of GitHub Universe, and I hope that 30 minutes are fit. I don't know what time is it now. So normally you would find this kind of music in a club or a media arts festival or such. And since there's not so much possibility right now to do this, you can find me in the internet at various places. And I hope you enjoyed my performance. And if you have further questions concerning the setup, I didn't go into detail about the programming of the robots, for example, because that's a little bit hard to do here with this particular setup. And so if you have further questions, you can just post them or write me an email or come over to Dresden, Germany. We have a wonderful workshop. And let me just finish with this. Thank you.